Isabella Stevens, and this is my tic-tac-toe activity diagram. Now this diagram is based on if you are the first one to move. Now we're going to go to the start. Here's a tic-tac-toe board for your convenience, and I also wrote a tic-tac-toe board right here. Let me put this out of the way. Now if you go first, you always start by putting an X in the box 9. Now, what's integral to this diagram is if the opponent put an O in box 5, the middle box. Right now, we're going to say no, they didn't. So that means we need to go put an O. We need to ask if they put an O in box 7. And this time, we're going to say yes, they did put an O in box 7. So that means in retaliation, you need to put an X in box 3. So of course, the next step is to put an X in box 1. Well, no, the next step that they'll have to perform is putting an O in box 6 to prevent you from winning. So that means you get to put an X in box 1 and effectively win the game. But first you also have to ask, was an O put in box 5, the center box? And of course we're going to say yes, they did. But even though they blocked you from winning from going across, now you get to win by putting an X in box 2, right here, which allows you to win this way. Now this is only one of the ways you can win in tic-tac-toe by going first. Another way is to, Sorry, I just need to put this over here. Is again, you have the X in box 9. Now this time we're going to assume that your opponent put an O in box 5, or the center box. So that means in retaliation we need to put an X in box 3. Now again, in order to prevent you from moving, they have to put an O in box 6. So that means you have to put an X in box 4 to prevent them from winning. Now, of course, after doing this, you haven't won the game, but you also have prevented any major wins. So the next question is if the opponent put an O in box 2. And of course, we're going to say yes, they did put an O in box 2. And now you're going to put an X in a box 8. Now, it's not going to matter who puts what next because the opponent is going to put an O in box 7 regardless to prevent you from winning. So that means no one wins this round. It's a tie. So that's 2 ways you can not lose at tic-tac-toe if you go first.